Out to the halfway line. 4 minutes to play. Great running set by Brisbane. Gee, the Raiders look very ragged all of a sudden. They still lead the game by 2, but for how much longer? Here's Walsh. 2-point field goal. The chase has come. He's hit it towards the sticks. It's drifting towards... Oh, gosh! Hit the crossbar! No way!
Wow. I can't believe it.
This could be it here.
Ben Hunt.
Hunt from inside 40. Ben Hunt hit it well. He's celebrating. It hits the post. It goes over. Ben Hunt put the Broncos into a preliminary final.
They're in disbelief, the home fans.
The Broncos have won a game that will never be forgotten. 29-28.
That was one of the best games I have ever seen. That was incredible.
Just to be down there. You know, it was great, the colours. Blue sky and then all the green. It was just amazing. It was so good to be down there. What a privilege to be able to work down there.
What was the emotion of the crowd like? Like Canberra won it twice.
Yeah.
They won the game twice and had it taken away. What was the emotion like?
When you're in the comm box and you're behind the glass, you sort of can see it and hear it, but you can't. Well, you could hear it and see it. You can actually see it. And for it to happen twice, it's going to be a big challenge.
Well,
I still don't know how that's not a try.
On the sideline, we were sitting right next to the Raiders bench, and so Ricky obviously is right next to us as well, and watching the emotions on his face. So when Jamal crossed for that try, the relief that went through him, you could see he was just emotional, and then for, you know, split second later, just absolutely flipped a switch.
Well, the players had to win twice and then go out and play again. And then to sit there and watch Ben Hunt, who's never kicked a field goal. He's kicked one in his life. Come up with a 40-metre field goal.
What about this bloke?
Incredible.
Reece Walsh? What a performance. There's times I just sat and I was watching him off the ball, just watching. And the last 15 minutes, I don't know how he got his team back. It was on the back of him. Yeah, Benny Hunt, it's his second field goal. He's kicked.
That's amazing.
These 2 last weeks for Reece Walsh, where do you rank them in terms of his career?
Oh, that'd be right up there.
That game, he's best. He had a game in Origin where he did a few things as a coach. I was the opposition coach.
Was that in Adelaide?
Yeah, he did a few things where I just went, you know what, no one else would have done that. He threw a pass with that much pressure on him and he nailed it. He's come up with a couple of moments, but that one going off, coming back on, what do you have, 20 minutes?
This.
Kicked the 40-20, scored a try, set up a try. That was one of the best 20 minutes I've ever seen by anyone. Maybe Nathan Cleary grand final.
Yeah, that probably.
Well, that's it, yeah, because Nathan completely turned
Nathan's grand final tops it, but this is second for sure.
But Nathan talks about it, he said, you know what, I let in a few tries. That's when I went over to him after the game. The first thing he acknowledged was, it was nearly me who cost the game for him to end up having that wonderful 20 minutes, because Reece Walsh and Ezra took him on, him and Liam Martin beat him a couple of times, so that was off the charts.
All right, let's talk the headbutt. What did we make of this, and what did we make of the punishments that went alongside them?
I think it was ridiculous they got the penalty. Hudson Young shouldn't have got sin bin. He was just in his face being, you know, an agitator, which we've seen. There's certain blokes who used to play would do this all game for their whole career. So you can understand, like, I think it's ridiculous, the way they get in their face and everything, but the best players should not miss semi-finals. Shouldn't miss them.
So my
you know what? They're
theory
blowing up about him, giving them the finger.
Yeah. Mate,
If anyone can be there to hear the amount of abuse which gets said...
And they're very creative, the Raiders.
I'll tell you what they've got to do. They've got to protect players better. At any stage there, emotions get very high. They need to protect the players. You can't have people being able to lean over and be able to get access to players or referees. That can't happen. We don't need to be able to deal with that anywhere in the game. So we need to be able to make sure around our tunnels that there's protection so players don't have to deal not so much with language but with a phone being thrown flat out at you or something, so where there's, you know, there's proper damage. Going back to the incident, I think Hudson Young, I was happy that Hudson Young got penalised and the thing went to Brisbane, but him getting sin bin, I thought he didn't need to be sin bin. He didn't deserve to be sin bin, but by him walking 10 metres and pushing Reece, That started the problem, and I can agree with the referee on that.
So
but
now, every time that happens, penalty?
Absolutely.
Every time?
Well, you know what? So I see people talk about Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's one.
Like a lot of Ronaldo's, but it's the person's underneath him. Like if someone's underneath you and you lean over and give him a gobful, I can live with that. Mate, he's walked after him and pursued him, so I can live with the fact that Brisbane get the penalty, but he shouldn't have been sin bin. I thought the sin binning for him was ridiculous.
Do you reckon he?
Well, you know
do you reckon he made that?
This is a byproduct of not being able to throw a punch.
You got to watch 5 or 10 seconds earlier. Hudson Young follows him.
Yeah.
And walks up to him so he can talk to him and chat to him.
I feel like that's such a big part of our game, though. Players get under each other's skin. You look at
There's
sports.
players of past era who've made that was their career, getting under people's skin. I think it can be a dangerous piece, but if they're going to penalise them, then just be consistent. Just be consistent.
Yeah.
Because once again,
You think the sin bin was too far?
players are a lot braver now that you don't get a punch in the head.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s or 80s, if a winger came in, could you imagine Blocker Roach or Les Davidson? Snot.
Yeah.
And you know what? They wouldn't do it again.
All right, so now going forward, obviously the Raiders, they played 4 minutes. That's going to take its toll. Also, too, you can imagine it would be quite an emotional roller coaster for them. How then does that affect them going into this weekend's match against Cronulla Sharks?
Well, you got to do it.
Well, they had their presentation night, I think, on Monday. So, like, the whole sequence, what's gone on there, is going to be a real challenge. But I think their youth is a really good thing. They're either really young or really experienced. And I think that's going to really give benefit. And they handled that well. They got to the lead. They just didn't handle the bit where they come back, which has happened a lot to Canberra. They can either come back or they can give up leads. So it just shows you they're very vulnerable.
The one thing, from a technical point of view, the left side, Braden Trindle put a clinic on last week, and that's where they got their points. That's where Timoko defends. They were very vulnerable down their right side, Canberra.
4 tries they let in and 2 40-20s. That's their side as well.
So then who do you see winning, Cronulla or Raiders?
I think Raiders at home. Once again, the question mark's still there on the Sharks. And they can put that to bed this week by going down to Canberra and having a big win. But the stats
I thought they did against the Roosters. Well, you look what they defended. Roosters are apparently one of the best attacking teams.
The knock is to do it back to back.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's and the stats, they don't lie. That's the second win in semi-finals in 10 games.
10 games, yeah.
So, you know, you can say that people are being biased, but the stats show it. So
I've got to say they're pretty good. Like, they defended the first half, the first part of the first half, and then the first part of the second half. I think their 3 kicks in a row were inside their 20 metres. They just kept defending. They got a penalty, and all of a sudden the game turned. And I think they turned 60% possession to the Roosters, and they end up winning the game with 51% possession. So that in itself shows you they just hung deep, changed momentum, and then come up with a couple of tries.
Now you tipped the Raiders on our
tipped the
tips.
Raiders, but I feel like the Sharkies. I'm going to change. I feel like the Sharkies. Extra day rest, the less emotion.
So you're going to go Sharkies?
I'm going to go Sharkies.
And you're? Raiders. And the only change, the Raiders are the same side that played on the weekend. And the only thing could be for Cronulla, Tom Hazelton, he's been named in the extended squad.
Bench, right.
So I think he had an infection or something next week. So that could be the only change for Cronulla.